Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Very warm welcome to you from Western Canada. My name is David. We've got an incredible show packed full of interesting information, maybe controversial for some of you, but welcome wherever you are. Let me know in the live chats. I know we're streaming to lots of different platforms, including first and foremost our inner circle on Patreon, where you're from and how you're doing in this very powerful little pocket of energy that we're in. We've had another round of solar storms. I know many of you have been feeling this. We've been talking about it in the group chat on Patreon. It is quite a powerful time in the world. And today we're going to be talking about disclosure, the two forms of disclosure that are currently happening. Let me just make sure my mic and my video feed are coming through good. Everything looks good on Patreon. I told you I figured it out. Finally, it took me 5 weeks. Let me just make sure my mic is good here. Yes, that looks great. Okay, there are two forms of disclosure that have been happening for a while. Now, I'm going to break down probably some things you already know, maybe some things you haven't thought of yet, but why it's really, really important if you're watching this message. And if you are, it's likely you're part of the ground crew, you're a starseed, light worker, an old soul, someone who's here to carry the light for humanity. And it is not for us just to simply say we're waiting for disclosure. Now, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. Me personally, as I always lead by example, I won't tell you or share with you anything that I'm not already doing or practicing or haven't got results from, unless I so disclose before I say it. That's my mantra, I guess, if you like, to you all. For me, I'm not here for that. Now, yes, I'm here to enjoy the human scene as much as possible, but my goal, my MO, my modus operandi is to become as Christ infused, as soul infused, as God realized as I possibly can on the path that I'm on. And the reason why that is my goal is I'm in service to the divine plan as my number one core of everything I do. And that does not have to be your daily work. It doesn't have to be your life work, but it is mine. And my guess is that if you're here tonight, I know we've got almost 500 of you now live already, you're probably somewhere on the same path, if not much further ahead than I am. And simply waiting for disclosure is not good enough for me. It is much more important to activate the highest timeline for myself in the truest organic disclosure versus the artificial disclosure that's happening now. Now, for some of you, you're waiting for med beds and the QFS and things like that, and there's no problem with that. It's wonderful. But if that is responsible for your fulfillment, you're heading into another cycle of giving your power away. And of course, we've talked about the Sovereign Academy, which we're launching at the end of the year. I wish we could make all this free, guys, and there would be a time in the near future, I'm sure, when we can, because universal high income will be there, and we just won't need the exchange system like we do now. But now, unfortunately, we have, tools to have to pay for stuff, and we have an incredible outgoing list of expenditures here on the GFL station just to keep the channel running, as I've spoken about before, which is why we have now a Patreon membership, etc. But that won't always be the case. And I can tell you that if money wasn't in its current state in the world, I would be doing this for free, because it is my life's work and is my dedication to bring you everything I can from the highest levels that I'm reaching, and also learn from you and all the levels that you are reaching as well. We learn together. I'm certainly no special case or some guru. Sneaking across the live chat real quick here. We need to raise our frequencies before full disclosure happens. We can't see what we aren't a frequency match to. Love that frequency, God. Very true. Love and light from Nigeria. I'm not going to go through all the live chat, guys, because I know there's so many of you. But we are going to start tonight's show with a reading, as we normally do, from this wonderful book. If you haven't read this, highly encourage you to do so. It may well activate you beyond that which you are ready for. Okay, so before we get into tonight's slideshow, let's do this reading and let's just close our eyes and take a breath together really quick. Let us call upon our Pleiadian team, our Pleiadian guides, Valir as well, of course. All of the Pleiadian emissary groups at this time in the love light frequency of the One Infinite Creator. Help us find a message in these pages that is relevant to us all today. Okay. So as in normal fashion, I'm just going to skim through. I'm going to try and find out. There's no, actually, you know what? I'm going to make sure there isn't anything here. There is something here. There's a bookmark there just to show you there's no bookmarks in this. Okay. I haven't pre-planned what I'm going to do now. I'm going to, as I just had done, put my hand on this book and I'm going to find a page to read, just a single page. I'm going to try and flick towards more of the middle or the back of the book. And I'm going to read that page to you all now. So here we go. What is relevant for us today? Okay. Page 124 for your reference. Oh, no, you know what? I already skimmed that before. We already had 124. I read that 2 weeks ago. That's interesting because there's no, how did I pick that? Because there's no, okay, that's weird. There's no points in the book that are like pushed open further that I can easily skim through. So that's weird that I picked that same page. Maybe I should read it again. No, come on. Okay. 190. Okay. This is curious. All right, here we go. The portal in the Middle East, has been one of the main openings onto the planet. The Bermuda Triangle, the portal of the old Atlantean area, has also served as a major gateway onto the planet. However, now the energies are chaotic and confused there, and that portal is not safe to access. Interesting. You can get stuck or lost because of the conflict and chaos that took place there. Other portal areas include Easter Island, Mount Fuji, Mount Shasta, remember that place, Lake Titicaca, and the Nazca lines, and the Uluru. Okay, where have we been going? Archangel Michael's teachings. That's interesting. That's not planned, guys, at all. Last time I read this book was 10 years ago. There are those who can read and travel the corridors of time, and there are those who cannot. Empires of consciousness are forming to take over different factions of existence throughout the cosmos and the universe. This was published in the 80s. Now, of course, we're getting to that time now in a positive way. Empires of consciousness are forming. If they have the ability to ride the corridors of time, they have incredible knowledge about probabilities and how to insert themselves into the variable of electromagnetic portals. If the corridors of time are not traveled with knowledge, many events can blindly trample through what is called time, moving from one place to another like tidal waves, pulverizing existence. This is interesting. These events seem not to care which portal or probability they enter. They strike them all without aim. And yet, you know that all events are synchronistically tied to a deep order and meaningful plan. A goddess staged show indeed. That's interesting from a message we got in today, by the way. I'll maybe mention that later if I remember. In order to establish a new timeline and a whole new web, the event that anchors the web must be a primary event of such profound implosion that it affects all of existence. Otherwise, the web has nowhere to go. Those who own the timelines of Earth have been keeping Earth segregated, not allowing free commerce, that's curious, to come and go on the timeline. There are those in the future constructing secondary and tertiary webs. A second web is a second fabric to reroute energy around the main corridor of time. A tertiary web is a third, a catch web in case the second web doesn't work. Page 190, Earth, Pleiadian keys to the living library. That's very interesting. There's so much in there that I could actually maybe even do a whole show on tonight. We're not going to do that. But there's rumblings of CERN being shut down recently. I don't know if that's true. People send me stuff all the time. Someone did send me that. And someone also sent me, let me bring this up. I haven't actually put this into the slideshow yet. So let me see if I can pull this from my photos here. I don't know if that's uploaded yet. Let's see real quick. Oh, why can't I grab that? Okay, let me try this real quick because I do want to show you this picture. Let's send this across to AirDrop to my computer here. Okay, let's turn that on. Hold on a moment. Oh, I need to turn this guy on. Hopefully my stream won't flicker here, guys. I'm sorry if it does. I've never attempted to send myself something during a live stream before from my phone to my computer. Interesting. Okay, let's turn that off. Let's get back to this. Hopefully this won't kill the live stream. Okay, we're looking good. Now, let's bring this in. That could have gone horrifically wrong, but it didn't. Okay, good. Image. Downloads, documents. Here it is. So take a look at this. Someone sent me this today on Facebook. There's a very interesting backdrop on the White House UFC stage right now. And I'm not sure what it means. I'm just going to leave it there for you to decide. Based on the times we're heading into and what Ashtar has talked about, we're going to get to Ashtar's message today in a minute. This is interesting. The backdrop on the UFC White House event is, from what I can tell, I've not validated this, but it looks to be the same if this is right, what this person sent me. The EBS color scheme. Now, that's very odd. And we don't know why that is, but I will leave that with you. Now, when we talk about the time travel and timeline element of things, there have been so many movies on time travel that it's disclosure of what's going on behind the scenes to a large degree. They have to tell you what they're doing before they do it. It's part of the quantum navigating karmic agreement, if you want to call it that. And it's interesting that they mentioned what Barbara Marciniak's book just mentioned, that they've been withholding commerce. Now, what I wanted to talk to you about tonight is, of course, disclosure. Okay. As the wind really picks up it, I'm on the lake and it's like crazy windy. Okay. A free energy revolution is coming, but it's already here, and not just from black budget programs and it's been hidden from humanity. It's here within us. And I'm not sure if you listened to Ashtar's message this morning, but that was very, very interesting because he distinctly talked about the two disclosures that are unfolding simultaneously. Now, the consciousness revolution is driving everything, but there's two key lanes of disclosure. And we're going to get into those tonight because one of them is the more artificial one. And that's going to, if we're not careful as the ground crew, keep us a little bit stuck. Whereas we have an opportunity to activate a higher timeline. And although everyone's not going to get onto that timeline, of course, we talked about the two Earths and things in other shows. Go back and watch those. Tia of the Arcturians has been talking about this quite a bit, and Mira as well, I think, if memory serves, that in evolving to the higher timeline, we pull the rest up. Okay. Now, those who understand the fabric of existence understand, as you evolve beyond the material world, you evolve beyond time, etc., and you if you are not aligned with source, have the potential to want to control things, I'm talking about the cabal now, and then manipulate time, all right, to try and best benefit you. Okay, let's get into tonight's broadcast because we have got a very, very powerful Archangel Michael message in a bit. Quick mention, guys, those of you who do join us on Patreon, we have now moved to there, as I always mention, and I will do for a bit longer. Be sure to click the join button, the big black one there, not the GIF now in the bottom right of the corner of the rectangle there, because that will not, the GIF now will not sign you up. It will create a GIF for someone. It is a great time to join Patreon now because we have got our Sovereign Academy launching towards the end of the year. And we have and will have several group chats on top of the existing group chat we've got launched, discussing some of the elements coming up in the modules for the Sovereign Academy coming up. So it's definitely worth joining Patreon. I'm going to be dropping more information there about the Sovereign Academy in due course. So if you do feel called to come and support us on Patreon, you're welcome there. And when money is no longer a thing, guys, we will just get rid of the subscription and we'll continue on. But we do need it for now. Okay, so the two messages, two really important transmissions I want to bring your awareness to. The one that dropped today, the June the 8th, from Ashtar, the quantum revolution, key things going on behind the scenes between SpaceX and Space Force. We're going to dive into a little bit of that tonight. Very, very important transmission. Go and watch that. And if you want to watch the full transmission, jump over to Patreon. Of course, our Inner Circle members are already discussing that, I'm sure. The second one drops tomorrow. This is really, really important. There's a massive window that has opened up. This came in a couple of days ago, I think, from Manaya. The massive sort of window of karmic clearing that we're in between now, kind of the summer solstice actually, and the winter solstice. There is, I don't want to ruin the message, but it's very, very powerful actually. It's very emotional. Building the video out from the transcript today for me. It goes live tomorrow morning. And that is that because we haven't, all of us, not saying this is you, but it might be, have not been doing all of the work that we could be doing to remove any karmic residue that we have, any escrow that we have. There is everything being brought up at once right now for all of us. It's like the things we've been stashing at the bottom of the ocean are now being brought up in a big net. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling like there are things being brought up from your past and things like this, it's perfectly normal, guys. And they're not coming up to harm you, or you're not being manipulated, although there might be some of this with psychic attacks and things going on. You've got to use your discernment with this. But it is coming up for you to clear, all right? Because you can't get to where you're going and still stay the same as you are. Very important. Remember, in these shows, I always say, you're welcome however you are, show up however you are. You're just encouraged to not stay as you are, okay? Elevate, elevate, elevate. So a very, very important message going live tomorrow morning on the 9th from Manaya. Emotional one. I love her messages. Very powerful. Okay, so the artificial disclosure timeline between now, really, I know we're halfway through 26, but I put 2027 here, and 2030, we are going to see a massive acceleration of technologies that are going to burst onto the scene, and you are going to not really believe your eyes. Now, we saw this beginning in 2018. Now, go and research this. I'm not going to bring this up. I haven't got slides on it because it takes too long. Now, I remember watching a show from David Wilcock, not even 10 years ago, probably before the GFL station, eight years ago or so, when David Wilcock talked about the Salvatore Pius Navy patents, okay? Now, there were two key patents that came up in this group, and I'm not going to get into them. I'm not going to bring them up on screen because you can go and research them. One was for a hawk craft, a hyper aerial and underwater craft, hypersonic aerial and underwater craft. This was from the Navy. It was in the Navy Times. It was an official, or one of the military main publications. It was an official, mainstream, deliberate drop driven by the Navy White Hats. I absolutely know that for a fact. And the Nordics were behind this as well. Disclosing two key elements. One, the hawk craft, and secondly, more importantly, the anti-gravity combustion type device that powered it. This is official knowledge. This came out into the mainstream. And for those who are awake and aware watching this, and I saw this, an old military connection actually sent this to me. We thought that it was disclosure. Oh my God, here we go. They're disclosing anti-gravity in the mainstream. It's going to go boom, 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 boom. And of course, it has happened that way, but much slower than, of course, we wanted. What we envision in reality and what actually happens from our mind's creation sometimes is a bit different, isn't it? Like the movie and reality. However, we're now in this window. We're now in this period where this is happening. They're actively bringing out disclosure elements more and more and more and more and more, to a point now where you're going to see, and that's what tonight's show is about. This is where it all sort of began, really in the mainstream, in my view, with the implementation of advanced technology. Now, SpaceX and US Space Force are doing some very interesting things. Of course, we know SpaceX have got this big IPO launching. You can go and sort of draw your own conclusions from that. It's a very curious thing what's going on with these two entities, because SpaceX has now become the number one contractor with Space Force. And of course, you don't have to go too far to draw Elon Musk's comments, which we talked about quite extensively on these shows, of wanting to make Star Trek real. Okay. Now, from going to oil and gas infrastructure and combustion engines and taking hours and hours and hours and hours to travel a few thousand miles, to we now want to have permanent bases on the moon, and we now want to travel across the galaxy and colonize Mars and have a Star Trek future. From where we are now to there would be a 200-year gap, unless there have been some breakthroughs, or there are going to be some breakthroughs behind the scenes to start talking and bringing through infrastructure of this advanced technology. Of course, we know what that's all about. We've had this technology for a long, long time. And now what you're going to see is, with disclosure, is they're going to try and have the breakthrough narrative through mainstream science and the revelation of what we've already got in these black programs kind of run in symbiosis together. So it doesn't look like this has been a big rouse, a big ruse that's been kept secret. Okay. Now, they're not going to be able to do that in its entirety, but that's what they're going to try and do for a certain period of time to maintain public order. All right. I know that for a fact. And we're actually seeing that play out. So we're likely going to see the implementation of medbeds. Of course, we saw Donald Trump, J. Trump, of the US presidency, come out with that strange video before it was deleted. His social media team released that medbed video. I've done a show on this, and very, very deliberate, guys, from a number of reasons. Go and watch the prior show on that. That was in part, signal that this is likely one of the first technologies that we're going to get. We are already seeing a massive explosion in, if you look at especially China, the two key areas of public travel. Okay, one is hydrogen, which will lead into fusion, by the way, and they're actually going to combine the two, and flying vehicles. China are doing a lot of revelation on this, a lot of mainstream broadcasts on this, but the two are going to be brought together. And there is an overlighting element to this, which I'm going to get into, which is SpaceX's infrastructure for controlling the whole grid, okay? Because you can't have public travel with anti-gravity vehicles with and replacing the mainstream road structures, okay, without significant control and oversight. So there is an air crash every 10 seconds at the speeds you're going to be traveling. So there is a sort of a control grid that's going to be laid on top of that for a positive thing. Some of you will look at that and go, oh, that's all about control and what have you. And if that's the timeline you're focused on, you're going to get that. So be careful. I see that as very positive. So travel and mobility with those two key elements, watch for those guys. Go and do your own research with that. I've been told that it is going to be through those two key areas that we're going to see some new revelations, and that does seem to be happening. So this is very, very important. If you haven't already got a cup of tea or something, go make one. We've got a bit more of the show to go. So you have got time to go make a cup of coffee or a tea. So excuse me while I just grab a quick sip there. Um, this is important. The entire infrastructure of humanity is founded on oil and gas, right? The combustion system, oil and gas infrastructure, that's the energy network. How on earth are you going to replace that without with massive overhaul, without massive, what am I looking for here? Confusion and chaos to the existing structure? Well, you can't until the quantum financial system has been installed and activated. Why? Okay. So we've talked about universal high income, how the narrative has changed from UBI to UHI. We've talked about Musk's Star Trek future comment, all this stuff. We know that the whole version, at least the real version of Nasara Jasara is coming. We know that. And we know that that's going to replace the old system. We know the Clarity Act is moving through the US Congress right now, and it's looking like it's going to pass very, very soon in the coming days here. We'll see. I do think it's about to be signed into law, despite opposition from some of the archaic old structures. Anyway, you can't have the implementation of this new quantum technology system into mainstream infrastructure, okay? Healthcare, agriculture, energy, engineering, etc. And it's going to happen fast. And I'm going to get to that in a second. Let me make a note because I want to remember that. You can't have this happen without massive fallout unless you have far less people in the workforce. How do you get far less people in the workforce to implement these new structures where businesses are completely retrofitted from the inside out with new technologies as it will happen? Well, you need to remove people out of the workforce, and a universal high income system is going to allow you to do that. So that's part of disclosure, guys. They come hand in hand, and you can't have and just think about it. You don't need me to tell you this is common sense. You can't have the common structure, the everyday person working 9 to 5 with rush hour every day all over the world, and you can't disrupt that. It's already chaos. Okay, you're going to need to remove populations or population density from that stream in order that you can retrofit this stuff and it comes in. That has been very carefully planned. There are several plans for this, and the universal high income structure is part of this. Very, very important. So the QFS needs advanced quantum infrastructure, and the QFS cannot come after the retrofitting and the implementation of new technology. It's not possible. Now, there might be small fragments of it, but mainstream, for the reason I just mentioned, that will not happen, in my opinion. Okay. So the technologies that we're heading into, if you watched Star Trek, great. More importantly, watch Iron Man, the disclosure of some of the advanced AI that the everyday person is going to have access to. Okay. So Tony Stark has Jarvis, and then he has another version of that later on. But you're going to have a very similar system in your home. Now, some of you jump to the horror and shock and fear corner when I say that. And that's fine if you want to do that. But I would encourage you not to. Okay. The positive elements that are coming from this are going to be huge. For example, imagine that you're a farmer and you run a farm, okay? And you need to custom build a brand new piece of technology in order to yield a particular crop, repair a particular field, plow a particular area, whatever it may be. You will have access to, and this is a little bit in the future, but not as far as you think, a quantum computer like Jarvis, where you can interact with it, or a base computer like you have on the starships on Star Trek, whereby you'll say, computer, this is the problem. This is what I need to find as a solution. Build me an archetype or an engineering blueprint for a new machine and its implementation of that machine that I can look at for a schematic. You'll go through that with an engineer, very likely. And then you'll say, computer, this is the final design. Go build it. That will then plug into a quantum printer. We already have replicated technology. Think about other versions of this that will then go and build that. Now, we've already got companies 3D printing entire houses, guys. So this is not a stretch. This is not too far in the future. We're already there, we're already doing this. This is different technology. And then it will go and build that, and then you'll go and implement that into your workflow. Now, you also have residential applications for this, okay? So these are very, very positive things. But the problem with all this is that once we've once we've got rid of a lot of the menial jobs that humans do, and many people will be thankful for that, despite the fact they're kicking up a fuss right now, it will free them up to work on the number one thing which we designed as souls incarnated here in this experience to do, which is to evolve the divine plan through us. Okay, to evolve the human genome, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, to take the current species into the next level of galactic integration through soul infusion. Okay, so that's why it's so important. And Valir is really hammering on my door, our door, for this, which is why I'm scrambling to launch the Sovereign Academy at the end of the year, is to really now move into this next phase of the next chapter of disclosure, which I'm going to get into in a minute, but the next phase of humanity, okay, which is the inner disclosure. Now, this must be focused on, it must run parallel, and it must be central to this entire revolution. Okay, let's carry on. I've got a few more slides to get through. So as I mentioned, watch Space Force and SpaceX right now. There's some very interesting things going on. We know that Space Force was set up for disclosure, and the next phase of first contact, we've kind of gone into various components of this. So Elon Musk is really NASA's and not necessarily replacing, but it's very interesting the way these two entities are running side by side. One, NASA is telling you that they go to the moon in a tin can, and the other is telling you, Elon Musk and SpaceX, that we're heading towards a Star Trek future. Two very different realities. Okay, now recent announcements from Musk is really a slap in the face to NASA. Now we know that the disclosure movements have parallel systems. Okay, we have the old Federal Reserve and we have the new quantum financial system. We have the old healthcare system and we have the new quantum medical system with medbeds, etc. So we know that this is running parallel, and this does appear to be another one of these parallel sort of revelations. And we'll see how these two come together, because NASA has, of course, been the gatekeeper to a lot of the truth about these black programs and the truth about what's really going on in space and also underground. So SpaceX, as I mentioned, is now the number one national security space contractor. So keep an eye on these two guys. I'm going to skim through these slides much quicker. Now we get to the most important part of tonight's show, barring the meditation. Now, those of you who've heard me broadcast before, as we have nearly 1,000 of you live, probably over 1,000 of you live now, I'll get to this slide in a minute. When we start every meditation, you will notice that I bring in the masters. Okay, not all the masters. These are just all the masters that I have been working with over the years. This really accelerated a number of years ago when I was part of Retooling the World's Lamastery through Jeff Dunphy and his amazing teachings. And those of you who have watched shows with Jeff and myself, I know about Jeff. And these are the masters, saints, and sages over the long years that have achieved high levels of God realization. Now, of course, religion is what it is. I would rather say that religion is probably positive rather than negative, i.e., from the perspective of at least it's getting people thinking about God, even if it keeps people from God. Not all religion, but most of religion keeps people from God because it takes people 5% off the true path to God realization, which is the God experience, the actual God experience. That's been called different things through different sects. Emmanuel, God realization, Buddhic consciousness, Christ realization, etc. This is all just terminology for activating the diamond core God cell, as Archangel Michael would call it, but activating your connection with Source. And these lights over the long ages, the Lao Tzus, the Buddhas, the Yeshuas, and many, many more, have told us that the complexities of the material world can be overcome not by technology, but through ourselves. What does that mean? Well, through accessing and connecting to that God spark, the diamond core God cell within us, through connecting with Source, God realization, we can do all the things that I've just talked about can be done through disclosure. Now, my challenge to you is this again, those of you who are watching this, how about this? Before disclosure really takes root on the technological side, okay, the artificial disclosure, can we, as the family of light, as the ground crew, can we bypass that altogether? Can we start to get on the path of, and I'm going to get into this in a minute, what the life and teachings of the Masters of the Far East and many, many other books and teachings have told us that we don't need any of it. We don't need any of the technology. Now, that doesn't mean we don't enjoy it when it comes along. But can we elevate now? My challenge to you and me, can we elevate beyond the need for this technology? Because if we don't, I think we're in for a difficult time and a potential timeline hijack going back to Atlantis. We may get into that in a minute. So the original blueprint, the ancient teachers across, spelling mistake, apologies there, all the ages have left us the breadcrumbs. Yeshua, Lao Tzu, Buddha, Saint Germain, and more, which is why we bring them in at the beginning of each meditation. We honor their presence and what they've given us, because now, if you're watching this, you are now part of that inner circle. Okay, you are now one of the lights of the ancient ages to bring forth all of the teachings that have been given to us in this age. No, I'm not joking. Some of you get that, some of you don't. It's okay. So my challenge, as I mentioned, can you outpace official disclosure? Now, I do think that this creates the final branch in the timeline. Okay. There's a very interesting disclosure series called Loki on Disney Plus. And there's some very interesting disclosures about timelines, branches, and time travel, etc. Now, I think that there's a collection of us now, and maybe it's us watching this, maybe it's not, who knows? We don't think of ourselves any better or worse than anybody else. That this group of people that I'm talking about, who takes the mantle, okay, accepts the challenge, receives the chalice of outpacing disclosure, will then branch onto a different timeline and fast track onto a new Earth paradigm. I think there's also another version of this through a solar flash event, which I've talked about previously, which moves humanity into that new Earth paradigm. But I don't think that everyone is going there. I really don't. I think that right now we are tasked with making sure that the artificial disclosure I've talked about is seated in enough of consciousness, enough of a high level of consciousness that when we move on to a higher new Earth, that the more advanced than now 4D timeline of Earth with Star Trek Future, of course, we're going beyond that, in my opinion. But there is a timeline that continues to this Star Trek Future, has enough consciousness anchored through the work that we're doing now, affecting the collective, so it does not head into an Atlantis 2.0, which is the fall timeline, okay? Those of you who do not know about the life and teachings of the Masters of the Far East, I've studied this 6-book series for over a decade now, I think. Highly, there's so many spelling mistakes on this page, guys. My apologies. There's so many amazing teachings from this. And we know through this series and others that there are masters today who can do all the things that I've just talked about. And they are not different to you. So let's look at these two things side by side now, real quick, before we jump into tonight's meditation. The artificial disclosure timeline on the left, okay, and the organic one on the right. So artificial disclosure delivered from without through technology, and the organic disclosure remembered from within, okay? Medbeds on the left, healing tech and external healing technologies versus the healing temple within. Healing through our connection to source, the spoken word, okay? Those of you who are familiar with Christianity, pick up thy bed and walk, as Yeshua would say. What was he doing when he said that? When Yeshua healed the blind and fed the hungry and healed the sick, apparently through the Christian Bible, okay, let's just say that it's real. For a minute, I'm just going to take Christianity because I'm most familiar with Christianity, although I left it a long time ago. Someone tell me in the live chat, I want to hear your thoughts here. What was Yeshua doing when he said to the blind man, what did hinder you? Okay, when he spoke to the leper, pick up thy bed and walk, and they were healed, and they walked, and now they could see. What was he doing? Okay, you tell me in the live chat what you think. What was he doing when he said those words? Because there was no med beds around in those days. What was he doing? Okay, he was helping them hold their inherent divinity. Yes, but more. You're on the right track, frequency girl. Tell me. I'm not going to carry on until you tell me. Yeah, he was also doing that, but that's not what I'm looking for. He was asking them to step into their own power. Yep. I'm going to go across to the inner circle here as well. I'll monitor both chats. Raising his vibration, heart coherence. Spoke higher frequency to form, freeing his mind. Believing and letting source come through him. Yeah, all of these things. Okay, Brian Wade, yeah, communion with source is probably the closest there, but you're all right. There's no right or wrong. So what he was doing, remember Archangel Michael's premise here. He was seeing the God spark in that individual. Okay. Now I've got a practice, which I'm going to talk about from the Sovereign Academy, which we're going to go through in a minute, which is what I would highly recommend that we focus on this time. But what Yeshua was doing, of course, now he had gone through many initiations to that point, okay, to be able to actually impart this or activate this. He was seeing through material sense. This is very, very important. So through the Sovereign Academy, guys, we're going to be going through what the Sovereign Academy is it is a modern mysticism sanctum, I guess. I've been watching Doctor Strange. There you go, sanctum. And it is going to be teachings that I practice that are a combination of the original Barbara Marciniak Pleiadian teachings, the Life and Teachings Master's teachings, the Saint Germain I Am teachings, the Archangel Michael teachings, and a new series of teachings being brought forth from Valia, who is a Pleiadian guide of mine, and maybe yours, called the Sovereignty Consent Protocol, which of course we've been talking about, all wrapped up into a simplified version, leading us, hopefully helping us lead ourselves to God realization. Okay. In this series that we're going into in the future, we're going to bring in what Joel Goldsmith talks about, the carnal mind, the mass mind. Now, when you get born into this incarnation in third density, okay, as all the mystics have talked about, now mysticism is just another word for God realization in a different way. Semantics will take that one way or the other. When you get born into your life right now, you are born into a reality where there is an imposition of consciousness, which is called the mass mind, the carnal mind. It's the default operating system of the third density. Your ego plugs into that, okay? Directly is what it's for. Nothing wrong with that. It's what it's designed for. But it can be hijacked, as we've seen, until we awaken to the true reality. Now, that mass mind is subconsciously imparting itself onto you through the stream of your ego all the time, all day, every day. You can't get out of it. It's going to happen to you until you start to take the steps, study, practice meditation, study, meditation, practice. You physically take the steps to activate the new software. It's already there. The new architecture is already there, but you start plugging into it and it starts overtaking and replacing the old software. The old software stays as it is. You just unlock the doors to the new software, like a video game. Okay. Now, we know that subliminal messaging is a thing. We know that, and Joel talks about this in his books. Even in the 1940s or 50s, I think it was, in the cinema, they played subliminal messaging that you couldn't see or hear through the five senses. And people unexpectedly got up and bought a Coca-Cola. If they're on their TV sets, they got up and made a phone call. They were being influenced by subliminal messaging. Now, that's just two very simple examples of that. There's way, way more. Now, of course, we know about MK Ultra and what's going on with the disclosure of that behind the scenes. That's going to be quite interesting because subliminal messaging comes into that through frequency fences that the cabal have absolutely used. I'm going to be keen to see how they disclose this. But anyway, my point is that the carnal mind, the mass mind, is through subliminal messaging, if you like, imparting itself to you all the time, which is why you often feel negative thoughts that come through and you go, that wasn't mine. Why am I thinking this? Now, people are at different levels of receiving this, receptivity to it. And the more you stay asleep to your true divinity, the more of this is installed upon you. Okay. But the good news is the more you develop spiritual consciousness, which is what the Sovereign Academy is going to be about in a different sort of flavor, with sort of a galactic edge, because we're going to be working on the 12-strand DNA template activation and reinstallation and remembrance, is that spiritual consciousness dissolves material sense. Okay. Now, here is the kicker. You can't want any of this for you. None of this is about you. Some of you are thinking, oh, that sounds great. You can't, as all the mystics have told us, which is why there are levels and layers, and we're going to get into this in the academy. You can't want any of this for you. Enlightenment is not for you. It may bring better humanhood, better human conditions, living by grace. I can absolutely speak to that. And I won't get into that because that's secret and sacred. But I lose my train of thought. The more you get into sovereignty, okay, which is what the sovereignty consent protocol is all about. Sovereignty is just reclaiming your divine blueprint, divine leadership, sovereign leadership. The more you elevate above the material world, but the more you'll be pressed into service. Okay. Anyway, that's enough of that digression. So what Yeshua was saying to finish off there is he was seeing through material sense because he knew the truth, which was this mass mind was the default template. He was imparting that energy to that diamond core God cell and giving that cell, that seed, a chance to grow. Okay, now he was at such a point of God realization where his spoken word carried that energy, but what he was doing was seeing through material sense the truth, and that truth lies within all of you. Okay, so you're all right. I wasn't saying anyone was right or wrong, but that's what I was going for there. So as we go down here, the third thing on the list here on the left, faster than light travel. Okay, now Star Trek First Contact, watch that movie, guys. Very, very good movie. Talks about how there is a first contact moment and how after that first contact moment happens, go and watch the movie. Disease, war, famine, it's all gone within 10 years. I think it's like 10 years they use, I don't remember the number, but all gone within a number of years because this technology is the alleviating element to humankind. But we want to make sure on the right here that we are pursuing the organic disclosure timeline, okay? If you're one of the family of light, you do not have this luxury. Okay. You may not like me saying that. I'm just the mailman. So, travel raised by vibration in the master's books. Okay. There's many, many instances of them talking about, go and read these books too, if you haven't already, of them taking their body with them. Imagine being in a dream. You can travel, or astral traveling, those of you who are familiar with this. You can travel anywhere in the cosmos, anytime, real time, just by intention. Okay? You don't need quantum vehicles. You can just, those who are highly enlightened, which is why all the galactics say that we think you're gods, because we have these abilities locked up inside us. Will we activate them? I don't know. To travel anywhere, anytime, any place. We can take our bodies with us. Okay, the story of the resurrection in the Christian Bible was revelation of this in part. Okay, I need to skip on here because we're getting on a bit. Quantum 3D printing, we've already talked about this, a technology which allows engineering and infrastructure to be radically overhauled. On the right, we have substance made into form. Okay, quantum manifestation, that's the organic timeline. In the artificial timeline, replicated technology, we already have different versions of this. Matter from a machine, okay, drawing quantum energy from the quantum vacuum through a 3D quantum printer using artificial technology and engineering to produce food, things, whatever. On the organic timeline, we have supply from the universal, okay, living by grace, drawn directly from source. If you need a pear, hold out your hand and a pear shall appear. So the feeding of the 5,000 in the Bible was all about, okay? Quantum manifestation again. And lastly on this list, there's more to this, but this is an abbreviated version of it, list version of it. Anti-gravity travel again. Machine defeating gravity on the right. We have levitation, a power belonging to mankind. So we have the ability to levitate and fly and all these disclosures of this through the superhero Marvel series. Superman, and that was not Marvel, sorry, that was DC. They're all connected. Of course, where did Superman get his energy from? The sun, the quantum star. Okay. Now he could fly and all this stuff. Now we have that same power to levitate as we build up these levels of God realization. Okay. There's many, many, many examples across time of this. I'm not making this up. You go and research it. So I mentioned the daily three, the 3-stage practice. This is a very abbreviated version of this that I would encourage you to use starting probably yesterday, if you're not already. All right. Now, we're going to expand upon this in much greater detail in the Sovereign Academy, but I'm going to give you a little snippet here. Just bear with me a minute. I'm going to have a sip of this espresso. When to use this? Well, this is in alignment with what we're talking about today. To activate the organic disclosure template. Okay. Stage 1, the one power principle, beginning each day in the recognition. Okay. Highly encourage you to do this. The one current runs through the field and only one. There's only one power in existence, even if it starts as mental, intellectual understanding. That's okay. It cannot stop there, but that's okay to start there. There are not two powers that are contending for your life. One that guards and one that threatens. There is no good versus evil battle. Okay. What was Valier's message recently? There is no good versus evil. There is no spiritual war. There is no spiritual battle. Now, if you're in a certain state of consciousness, there is. Okay. So I'm not denying that for some who see it that way. However, you cannot believe and embody that God is the only power and that the devil is contending for its seat and throne. You cannot do that because you deny that there is one power. All right. By your very admittance to the fact there is a good versus evil battle going on. This is a big, big thing, all right, in the light worker community. And a lot of spiritual teachers are still stuck on this. There's a spiritual war going on. No, there isn't. No, there isn't. There is a battle, internal battle for you, for your level of ignorance and mine. Ignorance to what? Ignorance to the truth. There is only one power. Now, it can't stop there. Okay. And if you stop there, there will be a spiritual battle in your existence. But what are we talking about here? Sovereignty, God realization, meaning there is only one power, and aligning yourself to that one power. And by the way, there is a way, practices, principles, and teachings by which you can practice every day, every week, every month to align yourself to this one power, the infinite maintaining and sustaining principle of all that there is, God, prime creator. If you are not on that path, you will see a good versus evil reality. Valia talked about this in the last message. Very, very important. This is a massive, massive thing, guys. The belief in two powers. It's the number one thing, the foundation for all of humanity's woes. Everything boils down to it in some format. Okay. Whatever presents itself as a second power, a fear or a condition or a force arranged against you is suggestion. Okay, remember we talked about subliminal messaging. It's the carnal mind wearing the costume of power. And the costume is the whole of it. You hold this not as a phrase repeated, right? Intellectual capacities. We don't stay there, but as the ground you operate from. We must make this practical, turning potential energy into kinetic energy. Okay? You are made of it. Everything that follows proceeds from stage one. Stage two, this is very, very important as well. Joel Goldsmith talks about this as the impersonalization of evils. So, the second practice in the daily 3, the path to the higher timeline. When something of discord grips you in your reality, okay, I encourage you to practice this. Your own reactivity, another's hostility, a trigger, an old smallness, whatever it is, lift it off the personal, lift it off you. All right? Remember, I talk about this every week. We take this seriously, but not personally. It belongs to no one, not your fear, not theirs, but impersonal conditioning, the carnal mind, moving through the shared field, subliminally, unconsciously imparting itself. All right? Wearing whatever face is nearest, i.e., also described as whatever your ego presents it to you as, right? The moment a pattern seems personal, it seems to belong to someone. And what belongs to someone seems to carry a claim. Held as impersonal, it loses its power, all right? A pattern with no one to belong to has nowhere to root. What's the number one thing that the cabal are banking on you doing? Someone tell me in the live chat. What's the number one thing that the cabal are constantly trying to get you to do through social media? Okay. 90% of social media is controlled. 95. When especially a doom and gloom negative story goes viral, okay, isn't it funny? This is not always the case, but it is mostly. Isn't it funny you can never find the source of who first posted it? I encourage you to do this. If you're good at staying in neutrality, okay, I encourage you when a negative news story comes on social media, try and find, and it's going viral, especially that's important, try and find the source of it. The reason why most of the time you can't, and I encourage you to watch the documentary Shadowgate and Shadowgate 2 on this, very interesting delineations of this, is it will be broadcast through content farms, very advanced ones, not the ones you see, 100 times on social media in different formats. And then influencers, some very, very innocent ones, will pick up that story and repost it until you have a viral installation into the algorithm. This happens over and over and over again. You pick it up and you post it. Look at this. Look what the cabal are doing. Stop doing that. Scroll on. So let's go back. What does the cabal want you to do? Division, to be in fear. Yeah, that's true, but that's not what I'm looking for. They want your attention. Yes, but no, not what I'm looking for. For individual, live in fear. You're all right with this, but I'm not looking for it specifically here. Unconscious consent. See if anyone in the inner circle gets this. Um, let's have a look here. Talking to the soul. Oh God, there's so many, yeah, so many comments. I'm going to scroll down. Hold on. Let me scroll to the bottom. What do the cabal want you to do? Turn on one another. Yes, you're close. You're close. Okay, Clewis 0302. Take a side. You're the closest so far, but you're all right. Again, you're all right. They wanted to have an opinion. If you don't have an opinion, you're unattackable for the most part until you get slandered personally. But then again, you're drawn into having an opinion. Okay. So the impersonalization of evil is absolutely key to overcoming the fact that it's an illusion. Very, very important. Let's go back to the daily practice because we're getting on time wise, and I know I have a tendency to go on and off on tangents. So stage 2, impersonalized evil is very, very important. Stage 3 going on here. Let me just bring up the full screen. Having seen the disturbance as impersonal, it's key in stage 3 to reclaim our sovereignty. Here is the practical element to reduce it to what it actually is. It carries no authority of its own, no law to sustain it, no disease, no contagion, no weather, no climate, nothing. It does not have a law to sustain it. It wasn't created by God. Okay. It's a creation of the carnal mind. There's nothing holding it in place but the consent once given. You do not fight for it, for fighting grants it the standing of an opponent. Very, very important. Your resistance in the battle of good versus evil, your opinion on one side, right, left, good, bad, vaxxed, unvaxxed, doesn't matter. It perpetuates the good versus evil narrative. The pair of opposites. There's good and there's bad. There isn't. There only is. There only is God. If God offends you, then get interested in that for a start. But replace it with something else. Source, Emmanuel, divine, universe, whatever it is, doesn't matter. What's important is that you recognize its existence as the only power. But the moment you start to allow in, have an opinion, good versus evil, they're right, you're wrong. You're already in duality. Okay. Very, very difficult, by the way. I'm not saying this is easy. I'm not saying I'm perfect at it either. But this is the path of the modern mystic. And if you're watching this as the family of light, that's you. So when I talk about our responsibility to the human genome, these are the things that, in my view, we need to be focusing on as disclosure takes an incredibly fast pace on the artificial side. But God is, and God is ising all the time. God is ising here, wherever you are, in the wilderness, the maintaining and sustaining principle, bringing forth the green leaves on the trees, feeding the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, feeding all that is in forests and trees and oceans across the other side of the world, in other galaxies, in other universes. God is here now, ising in your experience, knocking on your door right now. And there is as much of God, the divine, now in this moment than there was 10 million years ago on Earth. There is as much God or divine here in your experience as there is 400 trillion light years away on another Earth-like planet. It's pretty mind-boggling to think about Prime Creator, the infinite invisible. And the more you tune into the divine, the more you will see the divine hands working. Now, in the Sovereign Academy, we're going to get the true form of meditation reestablished. Lots of different forms of meditation. They're all serving their purpose. None of them are wrong. But we've kind of got away from meditation a little bit. And we're definitely guilty of this, Kelly and I. So we're going to bring it back home. The number one reason for meditation is to connect to source, which means getting out of the way, activating the antenna and the listening ear. Now, we're going to go deep into this in the Sovereign Academy. But true meditation, if you could just get this, true meditation is the ultimate admission, is the ultimate humility. Father, Mother, God, I cannot do this. You are the only power. Let me feel your presence. I go to you simply for going to you. Reveal thyself. Let me surrender into your divine hands. Allow me to live by grace. Allow your steps to be mine. Allow my thoughts to be yours. Before I send this message to my friend, be my hands, Lord of Lords. Be my thoughts. Be my voice before I come on and do a live stream. Make this for me. Meditation is the ultimate form of humility. Very important. Let's finish off. You recognize its substance, and the substance is nothing. Stage 3, reclaiming sovereignty. The pattern dissolves in proportion, this is important, the pattern dissolves in proportion to how completely you cease treating it as power. What was never a power has no means to remain. Okay, the daily 3, go back and do that, guys. I'm going to move on here. Let me take a quick sip here. Can I do this without it covering? Maybe not. I'm going to bring me back up on screen. Okay, tonight's work, guys, which will be starting in about a couple of minutes. We have Codex 5, the fourth Ascension Seal, the fifth Codex is a big one. Of course it is. The Quantum Gateway. So where are we going tonight in our guided meditation journey? The family of light convenes non-locally within the planetary chakra pyramid of light. And then we travel to Mount Kailash in Tibet. Okay. And we bridge. This is important because we've never done this before. This is a first for Archangel Michael for some reason. I don't know why. I presume that we will know this in the future. We are bridging the two codexes together tonight. We've never done this before. The Sacred Heart at Glastonbury Tor, okay, that codex, and tonight's codex at Mount Kailash. We're going to be joining the two. All right. So what we will install, Michael's Quantum Gateway, the Crown and Heart Codex, wedding the Crown's divine mind channel to the steadying Sacred Heart within each bearer gathered in the Pyramid of Light, then stretching the first bridge of light across Gaia, Mount Kailash to Glastonbury, to tune telepathy into soul-to-soul communion and amplify the fifth dimensional field. What does that mean? Well, we know the energies coming in now are bringing more of our abilities online. Okay. Now, the unity consciousness field is starting to come online. More importantly, we're starting to remember and activate it. Now, Kelly and I went to a magic show last night, side story. And we were actually looking for performance for our wedding. So we had someone come into our awareness, and we were going to go to his magic show just to see if he was good, because we wanted to have him as like a little side act at the wedding, between doing pitches and things that he could entertain the crowd. And he looked pretty good. And so last night we went to go see him, and it was pretty astounding. In my opinion, there was definitely telepathy going on. There was definitely a reading of mind scenario going on. There was a unity quantum field going on. And it would be impossible for it not to have been with some of the tricks that this individual performed. He was very good. And I was actually, we were front row seats, and I participated in some of the tricks. And so there's no way I could have, thrown the show or whatever. I was being very neutral. And he definitely tuned into my thought pattern, no question about it. And I'm very well versed in what telepathy is and how it happens. Anyway, so the unified field is coming along. We're plugging into it. And why this matters is the codex steadies the gateway as the sun's energies, the solar fire intensifies. So telepathy and divine mind access switching on across the collective arrive with ease and grace, not overwhelm and panic. Everyone who has this, each bearer sealed strengthens the bridge for all. I'm mumbling. Opening unified consciousness and divine union for everyone ready to step through. So the family of light may carry the awakening signal clean and sovereign as the fifth dimensional field rises across Earth. Mount Kailash. Here we go. Okay, quick Q&A, guys. Before we head into tonight's meditation in a couple of minutes, if you have any questions in the live chat, please put them in all caps so I can see them. Well over 1,000 of you live now. Grace has got a good question right off the bat here from the Inner Circle on Patreon. I can't put this up on the screen, but I'm going to read it. Regarding high income, the QFS, which industries will be made unemployed? David, do you know? Plus, will light workers communities have access to med beds for the local community's healing, health, and wellness? Regarding your question, there's 3 questions here, Grace. Come on now. Okay, regarding your question about the masters, if the Gnostics, Nazarenes could do it, so can we. If we are of a consciousness that is dedicated enough to master high teachings without the need of technology and AI, so bring on the Academy series of mysticism. Okay, so back to your question, Grace, on there's 2 questions here. Which industries will be made unemployed? We don't really know that yet, but I think if you can base this off the very simple rule of thumb, anything that can be automated is going to be. All right. Now, there are going to be industries that people think are going to be wiped out, where there's going to be humans and AI working together. All right. I think that's not being looked at enough. It's not going to be a complete sort of leveling of that industry. I think we will see things like the humans remaining in the loop for a lot of things. Let's take some supermarkets for one instance. There'll still be humans on task there to help human beings, but they'll be mostly automated, whether that's through robots who are at the till and stuff like this, or self-scanning becomes completely like the sort of system where was it Whole Foods? I can't remember which store in the US, where whatever you, so what my camera doing there? Whatever you pick up and scan, actually you already pay for, and it goes wired through to your account through the QFS, all automated, and you remove the need for 95% of people in the supermarket in a scenario like that. So I think you'll find a sort of across the board, you will find a level of AI automation which will either replace individuals, which is going to be a good thing, by the way, because remember, you've got universal high income in the background. You're not going to be left to starve. Okay, far from it. But there's also going to be industries that people think will be wiped out, like, let me think for a moment here. I mean, perhaps like taxi drivers, for example, if you've got everything being run through AI, through an advanced vehicle quantum infrastructure, you've got that plugged into a central AI with route planning and all that. And most cab drivers now are automated. Okay, or you've got self-driving machines, which is I'm sort of skipping ahead, where you have everything all linked up. So there's no, there's the fail-safes in place. There's no accidents. It's very risk averse. You may still have human taxi drivers there, right? Humans offering rides like that, but mostly that'll be run by AI. But they will run side by side. So that could be one example of that. I don't truly know, but I'm just saying that anything that can be automated will, and some industries will be completely wiped out. What would be an example of things that are completely wiped out? Banking, probably. I mean, the banking system right now, do you really need humans in that loop when you have artificial intelligence to do everything much faster and you have universal high income? Mostly no. So I think that industry is going to take a massive hit. Not completely, not completely, but I think banking is going to be mostly squashed, or at least evolved. Anyway, so that's a couple of things for you there. There was another question, Grace, that you had. Let me just go into that. Will light workers and communities have access to med beds for the local communities? It's my understanding that, and this is not just my understanding, but the Air Force and then the Navy are going to roll out more revelations of the healing technologies. I think that's already happening. And then you're going to see that in modern infrastructure. And then that's going to go into a delineated, love that word, as the Inner Earth teachings have taught us, into med pods in our everyday homes. So yes, I do think that we will have access to medical technology in our own homes. Okay, now that side of things on the residential element, if you imagine advanced levels of things that we have in our homes, there will have to be levels of sort of initiation with that, because you can't just plonk advanced healing med beds into the homes of everyone. We'd just blow ourselves up and all kinds of stuff would happen. So there'll be versions of it, yes. And you may well see that will be through more central sovereign communities. That I do believe is going to happen. But as we move into the future, you will see that everyone will have access to a med pod. Yeah, that's coming for sure. Okay. One more. Michael, I think I've answered that just now. Will med beds be free for all? Yes, eventually, or not as long eventually, but at some point they will be, yes. One more question, guys, then we must get into tonight's activation. Akasha Wolf, I have 6 questions. I know you've asked it twice here. All right, I'll answer it because you're persistent. Thank you, Akasha Wolfeye. Do you experience intense physiological activations just before you begin or began making contact? Or there's another bit of that question, maybe. Or D. Or did contact come first? Let me think for a second. Did contact come before I started receiving activations? I think, let me walk through the first things I started to experience back in, at least to my conscious memory, when my awakening really, really accelerated in 2017. The ringing in the ears became permanent for me first and foremost. Now, at the moment, as I talk to you right now, I have a base level ringing in my ears. So if there was no sound, if I put on earmuffs or ear canceling technology, not the Bluetooth kind, but like ear protectors, I could hear a constant tone, which is very high pitched. That sort of established itself first. Okay. Near enough 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago. And that was after some more elevated work, okay, in me joining the Lamastery, the Canadian spiritual group I mentioned through Jeff Dunphy, the Retooling the World group. It sort of began around then, and then I got into that Lamastery, started working with the masters more, and then the masters started showing up more and more. Okay, Yeshua started showing up. Archangel Michael would show up. I would have instances where, and this continues to this day, where I would have, I'd wake up in the morning and my room, kind of like you see on the camera, it's kind of interesting. The camera screen, it keeps kind of like increasing in light and then decreasing in light. I'd wake up and just sort of be lying in bed, and then my room would like light up with like this angelic light. And I would hear, this is one example, something played a harp. Like they ran their finger down a harp, like I was listening to music, like over here. And I had that angelic feeling. So I had instances like that started to happen. So first of all, ear ringing, but then yes, I started to have these bodily sensations, these audible sensations that sort of preluded more contact. Now, when I'm out doing star watches and CE5s, we're taking groups out to do CE5s. People had their first contact experiences and sightings and things. I will traditionally always have an elevated version of my ringing in the ear. So my ringing in the ear will suddenly go to a really high pitch. And traditionally, geographically, whatever ear it is, I'll look up either right or left, if it's in my right or left ear, and I will see something. I'll see a ship that powers up or something that does something. So I have instances physiologically that happen when I get a message or a contact experience like that now, yes. That's taken other formats, like with Archangel Michael. Traditionally, I'll have a third eye pressure if I try and go to Michael in meditation, or if there's a message that comes through like that. Let's see, my screen does that. That's just the camera exposure doing something with the camera and the AI on the camera. Anyway, when I go to Michael, I'll have that third eye pressure now in my body. So I have a specific element of my body that reacts to a specific energy, and they're very different. So there's that happens. So yes, there are physiological reactions that happen as a prelude and that happen today as a result of that. That may not be your experience. It happens in lots of different ways. Many of you have way more advanced contact than I do. The base point is the contact that we have is really just helping us remember that we're on the path of awakening and that we are being guided. Okay, now there are specific teachings that may come with some of those contact events, and discernment is key with them. And the importance is that we don't give our power away to these beings, Valia or Archangel Michael. We're not giving our power away to these individuals. We're just saying, okay, thanks for that. I'll take that on board and I'll meditate upon it. I'll see what comes through, and I'll see if I can add it to my practice of going within to access divine contact, etc. So anyway, I hope that answers your question. Have you ever seen them with your physical eyes? Yes, I have, Akasha Wolf. Yeah, there have been instances where masters have physically showed up in form, not full sort of like human-looking form, but an avatar that I can see. And also, when closing my eyes, one of the most vivid ones was Zandi, one of our Lyran guides, who is a depiction of a being called Bakal, who I think is a depiction of a being called Bakal, one of the Syrian lion beings, who Zandi is really based upon. It's the same character. It's one of my messengers. I went to bed one night, and before I even got into sort of a relaxed state, I closed my eyes, and this being, this lion, is right when the Lionsgate portal. So again, those energies. This being was just like right there in my mind's eye, like it was a cinema slide. It was shown over my vision, very, very clear. I could make out the mane, the exact characteristics of this being, beautiful energy at the same time. Not as vivid an energy as other energies. It was more visual, this one, but I could feel a very, very loving, powerful, fatherly energy. And then I'd open my eyes and it would be gone. And then I'd close my eyes and then be there again. And this lasted for about 5 minutes. So instances again where I've seen it in my mind's eye as well as physical. So yes, lots of different formats, guys. They show up in different ways. And it's not so much as contacting them. It's about elevating our frequency to a level of realizing they're already there. Okay, don't seek the masters. Seek the vibration that allows you to have new eyes. And you'll see, you were here all along. Let's go into our meditation on that note. Grab some headphones, guys, if you need to. We're going to layer in some music here. And in the live chat, if you will, can you please let me know that the music that is coming in here with this current music? I know we jump straight into it. Let's do this. We can do this, family of light. Or whether the music needs to come up, or whether the music needs to come down, or whether my voice needs to come down. Let me know how this music is in the live chat, guys. It is time to go into tonight's activation. 5x5, 5x5, 5x5. So many 5x5s are in a circle on Patreon. I love you. I think there's well over 500 of you live there as well. Okay, 5x5. Thank you, Tambry, Patricia, Sol. Love to you all, brothers and sisters. Barry, good balance. Thank you. Katerina. Okay. Let's go. Let me take a sip of this. Brothers and sisters of light, family of light, I invite you all now to close your eyes. Let us enter into this sacred space. It is time once again for the family of light to unite, to come together, to do the work that we were called here to do. We take things seriously, but not personally. Here we go. Take 2 or 3 deep breaths with me now. Breathing in the remembrance of who you are. I am the light. Say it to yourself. And on the out breath, release, release, release. Big energies right now. Breathing in the remembrance. I am the light. Breathe out everything not serving you. You are a fractal of the infinite one source, the one power in the universe, omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent. That is your true being. Remind yourself now, I am the light. There is no need to fight any evil power. The darkness does not exist. I release on the out-breath the ignorance that we have had across the long ages, that there is more than one power. There is not. There is only God, source, infinite power. If you haven't already, bring your guides and your team in with you now, your team of the light, to hold the space, to hold the love light frequency. Call upon their assistance to surround you. Now, family of light, I ask for your help in bringing in the archangels of the 4 directions of the horizontal plane. You know the drill. Invite them in with me. Follow along. I need your participation. Beginning in the east, the eastern node, we call upon Archangel Raphael, the Archangel of Air, who holds the green ray. Clarity, clean perception, clean mind. Call upon Brother Raphael to the eastern node now. And to the south, Archangel Michael, our dear brother, the Archangel of Fire, who holds the azure flame and the blue ray. Courage with love, protection without fear. Call upon Brother Michael to the south now, and to the west, Brother Gabe, Archangel Gabriel, the Archangel of Water, who carries the diamond white energy. Mercy, softness, emotional cleansing. Station Brother Gabriel to the west now. And last but not least, to the north, Archangel Uriel, the Archangel of Earth, who carries the red ray of stability, groundedness, embodied presence. Call upon Archangel Uriel now to the north, 4 archangels, 4 directions. We call upon you to hold the space and hold the love light frequency around us. And now, family of light, once again, we call upon the masters, the saints, the sages, the servants of the light, across the long ages, to join us as well, but just a handful of them. Those who've carried the breadcrumbs that we now hear as the family of light pick up, leading us back to the source. Call them in with me as I do. Feel their presence. We ask for the presence of Yeshua, Jesus the Christ, Saint Germain, the loved one, Zoroaster, the king, Zarathustra, the Magi, Lao Tzu, the old sage, the Buddha, Babaji, the Eternal One, Lahiri Mahasaya, the Smiling Guru, Sri Yukteswar, the Teacher, Paramahansa Yogananda, the Gift, El Moria, the Lord of the First Ray, Kuthumi, the Great Guiding Light, Dwalkul, the Master Teacher, Paul the Venetian, Serapis Bey, the Lord of Ascension, Hilarion, the Bringer of Joy, the English Master Douglas Baker, the Keeper of this ashram, Kuan Yin, the Incandescent One, Aina, the Ninth Dimensional Guide, Mohammed, the Prophet, Joshua, who walked with God. We also call upon Isis, the Goddess Light, the divine feminine energies of the Great Mother, Sanat Kumara, the planetary Logos, the Ancient of Days, Mary Magdalene, and the High Priestess energies. The Master's family of light within you, Savior's family of light in you, Yahweh in you. Take a deep breath in through the nose and hold the breath at the top. Holding the breath, bringing the awareness to the pineal. Activate, activate. And when ready, release the breath. And another deep, deep breath in, holding the breath at the top once more. Lighting up the cave, bringing the pineal online. Activate, activate. And when ready, release once more. Now, one final deep, deep breath in once more, holding at the top one final time. Lighting up the cave, bringing the etheric antenna online. See the pineal glowing at the center of the brain. Activate, activate. And when ready, release. Feeling deep and connected, anchored to the source of all being, your true identity. And as you feel deeply anchored here, it is time to go on a little journey in your etheric body of light. This time we bring our awareness to the crown chakra, at the top of the head. As you do so, it is familiar to feel little activations on the top crown of the physical cranium. This is perfectly normal, but if you don't feel anything, it is fine also. Just become aware of what happens in your experience. There is no right or wrong. Imagine there a pink, glowing ball of light. Rotating it right to left, if it's not already. Rotating it clockwise, gently. Using the in-breath and the out-breath to open a portal now. And on the in-breath, as you breathe in, feel the intensity of the pink glowing ball of light growing brighter and stronger. And on the out-breath, expand the actual physical dimensions of it. Repeat this process with a couple of breaths. Make them deep and round and circular until such a time where the crown chakra portal is large and intense and you feel ready to travel through it. And as you do travel through it, a great flash of pink and green light transports you to your own personal pyramid of crystalline light. This particular pyramid for tonight is rose quartz pink with a tinge of glowing green. It is vast in all directions. In the center of the pyramid lies a bed or a table floating, suspended. And above it, at the apex, the top of the pyramid, is a double-terminated, double-pointed, enormous quartz crystal suspended from the top of the pyramid. There is a familiar presence waiting by the table, and he invites you with an outstretched hand to join him. Ah yes, you know who it is, beloved hearts. Brother Michael, Archangel Michael. And tonight, he has a short message for us, for the family of light, a short clearing, and then we travel to Mount Kailash in the Himalayas in Tibet to install our next codex. So if you haven't already, and if you feel called to do so, join Brother Michael by the table. And as you two, he greets you with a warm hug and invites you to lie down and get comfortable. As you lie upon the bed, you feel at home here, connected to Source, connected to love, settling into a whole new level of connection with Source. Archangel Michael speaks. Beloved Masters, I bring you greetings for the Most High. Draw close now, family of light, and still your breath. For what we prepare together this day is a seal, long awaited and long earned by your faithfulness. This is the Quantum Gateway Codex, an ascension seal that joins your crown to your sacred heart and opens the channel of the divine mind. It is woven to amplify and to steady the fifth dimensional field so that the unified consciousness of the creator mind may be accessed by all who are ready, that the gifts of telepathy and divine union may come to the collective with ease and grace. The crown is the gateway to the higher dimensions, to your higher self, and to the infinite. Through it, your I Am presence pours its light into the sacred mind and the storehouse of cosmic wisdom that you carried since before time began. This is the channel of the divine mind, the remembrance of how we spoke before we ever shaped a word. Mind to mind, soul to soul. Yet the crown alone is not enough. The mind must be wedded to the heart. The sacred heart is the meeting place of heaven and earth within you, and it is the heart that anchors and refines what the crown receives, so that your telepathy rises as soul-to-soul communion, not the unbridled static of the lower centers. Heart and mind working as one, this is the gateway we install tonight. And for the first time in this sevenfold series, beloved ones, we shall seal this union within the body of the earth herself. We journey to the white summit of Mount Kailash as you know it, the holy crown of Gaia. The mountain none of a mortal foot has ever conquered, for the crown is approached, never taken. And from that shining access, we shall stretch a bridge of living light across the face of your world to the sacred heart of the earth at Glastonbury Tor, where the diamond core of this work was already anchored. Crown to heart, Kailash to Avalon, as above with you, so below within you. Many of you are already feeling the doorways open. Thoughts arrive that are not your own, the sense the unspoken in another. You wake knowing what you could not have been known. Do not fear this, beloveds. It is the natural language of the higher realms returning to you. You are remembering. Know this also, your sun grows ever more radiant, and the cosmic waves streaming from the great central sun intensify in this very moment with each passing season. We in the higher realms are watching this with great excitement, for these living currents are quickening your awakening, and for the unprepared vessel, an unanchored opening can bring overwhelm, disorientation, even panic. This is why this seal is needed now, and why it cannot wait. This codex steadies the channel, it clears the pathways, it sets the shield of protection in place, and it tunes the gift so that what flows through you flows in harmony now and not in shock. What we offer is a gateway, measured, sovereign, and safe. And as each of you is sealed, the bridge strengthened for the whole, for this is a group ascension, never a solitary one, and every soul who takes their place within the honeycomb of consciousness makes the way easier for those who follow. Beloved family of light, yes, the hour is upon us now, and you are ready. So sit up upon the table now you lie. Place your feet upon the floor of the sacred pyramid. For before we rise to the crown of the world, we must first tend to the foundation. Oh yes, dear hearts, we have felt that in many of you the lower chakra centers are building up a little. Some of you are feeling an unease there, and so tonight let us do a little releasing, a little clearing before we install our codex. You cannot open the gateway above upon a foundation that is congested below. An unanchored opening is what brings the overwhelm we just spoke of. A grounded one brings only grace, so we will now clear the lower three and make the column clean and steady. So lift your gaze to the apex above you, to the great double-terminated crystal suspended at the crown of this pyramid of light. See now how it draws the light of the great central sun downward through its upper point, and how through its lower point it draws upward all that you are ready to receive and release. It receives in both directions, so let it be your instrument now. So, dear one, bring your awareness now to the base of your spine, to the root chakra, to the deep red of the first center, your anchor into the body of Mother Earth. Let us use the breath. So breathe in now, and as you breathe out, see every impacted energy of fear, survival, and old foreboding loosen and rise. See it drawn up through the great crystal column and given to the violet flame to be transmuted. As you breathe in a clean ruby light. Repeat this process a couple of times. As you breathe out, release. And as you breathe in the ruby light. To seal this clearing of the root, we invite you now just to tone the sacred sound to yourself or either out loud. Om, spelled A-U-M and pronounced Om. So as you repeat this process now, tone to yourself quietly or out loud, Om. You are safe. You are held. And with the sacred sound, the root is cleared. When ready now, move your awareness to the center below the navel, the sacral chakra, to the warm orange of your second chakra center. Once again, we will use the breath, and as you breathe out, release the old waters here, the grief that you have stored, the shame, the residue of what others placed upon you. Watch it rise through the apex and dissolve into the violet flame. As you breathe in a clear amber light. Repeat this process a couple of times, breathing out all not serving you from the sacral chakra, dissolving into the flame, breathing in a clear amber light. And to seal the sacral clearing now, once again, tone to yourself or out loud the word Om. Make it round and circular and intentional as you declare it. Moving on now finally to the solar plexus. Rise now to your solar power center, the radiant gold-yellow sun behind the navel. Beloved heart, take special care here, for this is where the lower telepathy lives, the unbridled static of anger, distress, and the will to dominate. So as you breathe out, release all of it now, up and out through the crystal into the violet flame. And as you breathe in a steady golden sun, breathing out and releasing, breathing in a steady golden sun. Once again, we tone to seal the clearing, using Om as you do this practice. Now feel the three of them settled and bright: root, sacral, solar plexus, a strong grounded base beneath the clear column of light. Now, beloved hearts, send a cord of that ruby red energy down into the heart of Mother Earth, through the base of the pyramid, and feel her hold you fast. You are anchored. You are pure. You are ready. The foundation is sealed, beloved family of light. The way above is open. So be it. And so it is. Now let us rise together to the white summit of Mount Kailash. So if you are ready, beloved one, rise with me using your etheric replica, your body of light. And let us lift now from this chamber, from this pyramid of light as one, as we travel instantly to the roof of the world, to the Himalayas, to the white untouched summit of Mount Kailash, the crown of Gaia. So gather with me here in the center upon the snow light, a great ring of souls encircling the holy mountain. For the crown is never summited, but it is always honored. Take a hand to your left. Take a hand to your right. Complete the circle of the family of light. And see and look around, all here, together. Use the infinity breath now, drawing the breath in through the crown, down towards the heart, circling round and back up through the heart, joining at the crown once again, creating an infinity symbol. Use the breath several times to create this loop. As you do this, feel into the family of light, breathing as one in this circle. Above the mountain now, see the light of the great central sun descend forth in a single shaft of white, brilliant light tinged with violet. It enters the crown of the mountain and the crown of every soul gathered here at once. Breathe it in and feel the gateway of the divine mind open, clean, measured, sovereign. See the sphere of light at your crown now begin to turn, slowly at first, then faster and faster, growing lighter and brighter until it bursts into a radiant sun above your head. The master access point within, long dimmed through the ages, quickens now and comes alive once more. The membranes of light dissolve from the portal of your sacred mind, and the storehouse of cosmic wisdom you have carried since before time unseals before you. Now feel the sacred mind reach down and join hands with the sacred heart, the two working as one in perfect harmony. This is the wedding at the center of this codex, and only through it does the channel of soul-to-soul communion now safely come online. Draw the brilliant white-violet light down through the opened crown, down the clear column until it pools and steadies in the heart. Do not worry once again about the technicalities of this visual. Just feel the energy, beloved ones, for that is enough. Now, from the radiant sun above you, see a shaft of light rise higher still, lifting to your soul star and restoring the rainbow bridge to your I Am presence and to unity consciousness. Once again, we will use the toning Om. So tone with me now, either out loud or in your mind's ear. Say that word with power and intention, over and over again. The adamantine God Creator particles of light ignite now, awakened by your loving intention. The gateway holds open, clear and sovereign. Say these words with me now, and say them with intention, beloved one. I am one with the divine source. We didn't mean it that time. Let us say it once again. I am one with the divine source. Say it once more from the heart. I am one with the divine source. The seal now is set in light, so now we build the bridge. From the crown of Mount Kailash where we are, we send a current now of that white-violet light streaming across the curve of the earth. West and west and west again it goes, until it reaches the green sacred heart of Gaia at Glastonbury Tor in England, where the diamond core of this work was anchored previously. See now these two sites blaze and join. Crown to heart, Kailash to Avalon, mind wedded to love within the body of the earth. For the first time, dear hearts, we close the circuit between them, and what is joined in Gaia is joined in you. Along this bridge, the unified field now flows. Feel your telepathy steady into divine union. Not the flood that overwhelms, but the gateway that receives in ease and grace. Let the current pass from your heart into the heart of the one beside you, and theirs into yours. Around the whole ring of the family of light now, and out into the honeycomb of consciousness, into the diamond grid that holds all awakening souls, the collective. And as the sun's waves intensify, this is the seal that lets humanity rise without shock, without panic, together and ready. Let us seal this codex now with these words, beloved ones, each in your own voice. For each one who claims that themselves strengthens the whole. I am the open gateway and the clear channel. I am one with the divine mind. I receive in ease and grace. Heart to heart, mind to mind. I am one with the source of all being. I am one with the family of light. It is done. It is finished. It is sealed, beloveds. From this very hour, you carry the bridge within you. Gateway bearers, keepers of the living link between the crown and the heart, between Kailash and Avalon, between soul and soul. Hold it gently. Let it flow. You now make the way easier for all who follow. So be it, so it is. It is done, for the greatest good of all. So take a moment here, family of light. Stay in this circle, hands held for just a moment. Feel the connection. Feel the love. Feel the unified mind. One love, one life, one power, Breathe into this space. Let us take 60 seconds in this moment. Anchored and pure, heart-centered and safe. And if you are ready now, beloved heart, it is time to journey back. The codex and seal installed and activated, anchored and complete. So release the hand to your left, the hand to your right, giving a bow to the family of light, knowing we will be back here once again very soon. Bringing your awareness now to the crown chakra once again. Using the in-breath to increase the intensity of the crown chakra light. And on the out-breath, increasing the diameter and the size, opening the portal. Once it gets to a size where you feel you are ready to travel through it, travel through it. And as you do, a great flash of pink and golden light merges your light body back with the physical. And I will walk you back into a state of awakenedness in the physical vessel. We'll count from 5 to 0, 0 being the most awake. 5, just wiggling toes and fingers very gently. 4, just rotating the torso. 3, moving the head from side to side, making it gentle but intentional. 2, just rolling the shoulders back and forward. 1, about to be fully awake and back in the physical, feeling connected, feeling strong. And when you're ready, 0, eyes open and wide awake. Back in the physical, connected and present. Okay. All right, my friends. Well, that brings tonight's session to a close. Another powerful one. My goodness, probably the most powerful yet. Let me know in the comments how that was for you, what you experienced. If you are on Patreon, join the group chat. It's found under the messages section, and let everyone know how you experienced, what you experienced in that codex activation. Let's have open discussion. You're all connecting so wonderfully on there, and it's wonderful to see. I do duck in now and again every day to answer questions and commune with you all. So it's an amazing space. We've got more group chats specific to specific bodies of work coming up that we will, I will start, and I'll let you know how we go. But for now, that's all. Until next week, next Monday, when we have our next codex. No idea what it's going to be. Michael will no doubt give that to me in a few days, and I look forward to that. But thank you so much, all of you, for participating in tonight's meditation journey and activation. The work we're doing is extremely important. It is sacred. And if you feel called to do so, join the inner circle on Patreon. It's a great time to do it. We are heading into the Sovereign Academy at the end of the year, and there will be lots more things leading up to that, exclusive to the inner circle on Patreon. So it will be beneficial to do that. But either way, we will continue to broadcast live to YouTube like this, so we give everyone access to at least this work. And we hope you honor us in this journey as we just try and balance the work that we are bringing forth to you all. So I love you, and I love that we can come together every week as a family of light like this. I couldn't do this without you. And I'm just delighted to be running in life with you side by side on this journey of ascension. So until next time, all the love in the world, and see you next time.